It's all very exciting when you get that little sign that says your broadcast is live.
We didn't get a countdown this time because we went over our time. Oh dear.
Hi.
Right. Evening, everybody. We'll see who decides to join us tonight. We're just going to have a quick recap on what we were talking about last week, and then have a quick run through about what we're going to kind of post this coming week and maybe the next few weeks as well.
Yes.
So we're kind of starting to get into the nitty gritty now.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. We're about to start to get into, I think, what most people are here for, but we'll see, because I bet nobody did their homework from the blog.
No, because it was quite an interesting blog, which I have got up on the screen to my left. And it was a very interesting little blog, knowing the difference between costing and pricing, because I think a lot of people probably think they're the same thing and they're not.
And also a lot of people mistake what profit is, and that's not the case at all. So you've got to really, it's an interesting one. It certainly highlights if you're underpricing, which I actually did this because I thought I've just got this new product, these art kits, and I've really struggled to get the costings down enough to put them out at an affordable price. So I thought I've kind of done it. So, you know, my business is, it's a little bit of a profit, but not a huge amount, because, you know, obviously being the numpty that I am, I'm giving most of it away in charitable donation, but I'm getting going. So that is, as far as I'm concerned, my marketing budget. So I did that exercise, and I thought, if I'm going to retail these at a shop, what I'm charging at the moment is actually my wholesale price.
Yeah.
And if I actually want to charge these to a retailer, I'm going to have to double the price. And I don't know whether the market can do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to now look at how can I reduce my costings. So even for me, it was quite an interesting exercise.
Yeah, because it isn't easy, because you know, you're going to have your product and you're going to have your costs.
Yeah.
And, you know, initially you're probably just going to try and get those products and supplies from wherever you can, and not really think about how much they're costing you until you actually start to put it in and say, well, that's how much it's cost me to make, and that's what I'm going to have to sell it for. But I know somebody else is selling it for less than that. Can the market really take that?
And it's a lot of it can be, I mean, in my instance, this is a new product. So I don't want to order 20,000 boxes at, you know, 2p a box. I'm going to have to order 75 boxes at 75 pence a box. And it's that kind of differential that when you're just starting out, you sometimes have to take the hit. And
it's difficult.
While I see whether this is viable, it's not actually going to bring me in a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
But if it is viable, my next order will be 2,000 boxes or 20,000 boxes or whatever. And that will then bring that unit cost right down to make it affordable.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
Make profit. And I can sell at shops then as well. But it's doing that homework and looking at knowing your numbers, which is what we regularly say, does make a big difference. It makes you think about how your business plan is working.
It does, because I know a lot of people kind of set up in a creative industry, and they will do their market research. They'll look at competitors, but then they kind of they'll look at what other competitors, what their selling prices are, and then they'll just say, oh, well, I'll just sell at the same price.
Yeah. And
you can't do that, because your costs are going to be very different to what their costs may be. They might have been doing it for longer, therefore they're able to get their product, their supplies at a lower wholesale cost than you might be able to at the moment. Their expenses might be lower than yours might be. They might be able to make things in a quicker time scale than you might, because you're starting out, they've been doing it for long. So all these elements, when you put them together, you could say, well, they're selling it for £20, I'll sell it for £20. And when you actually cost it out, what it's got, and it's like, you're not making much money at all.
If anything,
exactly.
And it's having that knowledge to be able to make the decision of, okay, I'm going to treat this as a marketing budget. So effectively, that what I'd like to make in profit, I'm treating that as marketing, because I'm not making that profit while I get my product out. It also may be highlighting that you're not particularly good at negotiating with your suppliers. That's something. When I first started, I rang up Derwent pencils because I wanted to get some paper stumps in, and they told me the price, which was basically 10% off their retail price. And I thought, well, that's just not affordable. I can't put that in my boxes. And there would have been a time when I would have just accepted that, stropped off, and tried to find another way of doing it. But instead I thought, well, hang on, I've seen other people have Derwent's paper stumps in their boxes, therefore there must be another price somewhere. So I phoned the buyer back and I said, well, this is lovely, but I can get your rivals, Faber-Castell, for half that price. What do you say about that? Because I would really love to use you. And all of a sudden he matched that price.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't take your first quote, basically do a bit of negotiation. The worst that can happen is they'll say no.
Yeah, exactly.
Big
exactly
deal.
Well, that's what you're trying to say in life. The worst that can happen is somebody will say no to you.
Yeah.
And if you don't ask, you don't get.
Precisely.
I get told
that first time when you're first setting up in business, and it's your baby, and it's, you know, and a lot of people on here I'm sure would feel the same, that it's actually not easy doing that.
It isn't easy, and I suppose you've got to have a bit of confidence in yourself to go ahead and do that. But then also on the upside is, once you do have that relationship with your supplier, at least then you've got more of you've got more leeway when negotiating and down the line, and you know, further down the line, once you need different things off them or anything, you know. Especially if you maybe put in a really big order in, you can try and see if you can negotiate a little discount off that and everything. So
or you say to them, look, you know, I'm doing this really cool thing, how about you sponsor me? Exactly. And I'll put some flyers in my product for your business, and you know, let's see what we can trade off doing that way too.
Exactly. So, and I think at the moment as well, I think there's an advantage of that as well at the moment in the current situation. You know, it's trying to help everybody out and help each other out, because the suppliers are going to be struggling as much as everybody else. Yes. So I think anything that can help them that also helps you is also a bonus.
Yes, totally. Yeah.
So obviously the blog went out on Thursday. Now there was a little bit of you set everybody a bit of homework. I'm all right. I don't have to do the homework.
It would be interesting to find out from anyone if anybody else did have a go, and what did they feel about it? What did it reveal to them about their costing and pricing? And did they have any questions about it as well?
Yeah. So if you are watching live, or if you're watching this on replay, just pop a comment underneath and say, yes, I did do the homework. This is what I found. Or no, I didn't do the homework. We'll give you detention. But yeah, I think it's like you said, it's there to help you try and sort of see where you're at and see if you're actually on track with what you're charging and everything.
And if it brings up some questions, then do feel free to reach out, and we might be able to help. There'll be other people in this group. I mean, if we can't help, which we probably would be able to in most circumstances, but if we can't, there'll be other people in this group that's going through the same things. And no question is a silly question.
No.
Because you can guarantee there'll be 3 other people thinking the same thing, and we just need one person to type it down, and then everyone benefits from that.
Yeah. And like I've said before as well, if you don't feel that you want to post a question in the group, then you can PM either one of us.
Absolutely.
And we'll be more than happy to help. So yeah, just get in touch. Because obviously on Wednesday, I think it was, we did put a poll up.
Yes,
as well, which I will bring it up, which we didn't get too many takers.
Which makes the question, does this mean everybody's fine and nobody's really worried about anything? Or does this mean that people just weren't sure what to engage or how to engage?
Yeah.
So I don't think for 1 minute everybody's fine and hunky-dory, because I think you'd be in the group if you were.
Exactly.
I know I'm not, and we're running the group. So
okay, you did put one of your votes. Yes,
yes, I did.
Yes, you did. And a couple of others did as well. So the poll that went out last week was basically just asking you which area that you struggled with the most around costing and pricing. So you had 5 different options. I am going to repost it this week.
Yes.
Just to try and get some people to engage, because we can't kind of plan our lives or anything. And obviously with the app as well, with our market research for the app, you know, if you don't tell us what areas you are struggling with, we're going to struggle trying to find ways to help.
Yeah.
So like I said, there were 5 options. Like I said, you can click as many options as you like. If you've got any questions, again, just pop a comment underneath and we'll do our best to answer them. But yeah, so I will repost that this week, just to see if we can get a few more takers.
Yeah.
Which will be nice, because it enables us to kind of figure out what we're going to be doing for that following week. Obviously, last week we did costing versus pricing, and sort of we did timesheets as well to monitor your time. This coming week, we are going to start looking at how to work out your hourly rate.
Yeah, and this is going to be probably overrun a few weeks, because quite it's complicated. Well, it's kind of not complicated, but it is complicated.
Yeah, so there's a few ways you can work it out. I mean, if you really want, you can just take, well, I'm just going to charge the minimum wage.
Yeah. But even then, that's not actually as easy as it sounds.
No, it isn't.
You say, are you charging minimum wage for every hour you spend creating a thing? Well, that's not every hour you're working on your business. So that actually means you're not even paying yourself minimum wage.
No.
So there are the connotations around this.
Yeah. So we're going to kind of shake things up a little bit. So this week there won't necessarily be any Top Tip Tuesday or Wisdom Wednesday or anything like that this week. So we're going to shake it up a bit, and we're probably going to post some questions just to try and get you guys to engage a little bit with us. On Thursday, I will put a link to an infographic about how to work out your hourly rate one way. So we're going to work it backwards. So I'll give you a quick run through of how it's going to work. And then obviously once the infographic, I've actually sat down and designed it, will make a lot more sense, and you can literally follow it through step by step. So by working it backwards, I'll explain what I mean by that. So basically, you're going to ultimately start with a figure of what you would like to earn.
Yes.
From your business.
A realistic figure.
Yes.
I think that. Wanting to earn £1 million in a year isn't necessarily realistic for your first year of business.
Yes, I'd be quite worried about how the hourly rate would work out with that one.
Yeah. Feel free to aim for that, absolutely. But yeah, start realistically.
Yeah, so we will start with what you'd like to earn, as Sue said, a realistic figure. And obviously you're then going to have to look at your expenses. So your business expenses, accountancy fees, everything to do with the business, basically. And then obviously that gives you an adjusted figure for earnings. Because obviously what you'd like to earn doesn't include any of your expenses. So we need to obviously add those costs on top of that first figure. And then this will give you your adjusted sort of annual salary figure. And then after you've worked that one out, you then need to actually look at, well, how many billable hours do I actually have in a year?
Yeah.
Because saying you work 3 days a week doesn't really help you at all.
No.
And the best way to do this one is to start with the max number of hours you're going to have in a year. And obviously then you need to consider holidays. So how many holidays? Yeah. So how many holidays are you going to take? You're going to take a week off? You're going to take 2 weeks off? You know, if you're employed, you get 5 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, you get 5 weeks holiday a year. So are you going to look at that as well? Which I would advise you to, you know, you've got your holidays. Just remember, yes, you don't get paid for them. You don't get paid for being off sick.
No.
But you need to take your holidays. Otherwise, you're going to burn out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then obviously you need to look at, well, am I going to work 5 days a week? Do I want to work 5 days a week? A lot of people choose to go self-employed because they can be a lot more flexible.
Yeah.
So you then obviously need to deduct any hours for holidays and non-working days as well. And then obviously once you've got that, you've then got your kind of billable hours per year figure. And then you need to remember that not all of those hours are really billable. you know, there's admin and other bits. There's sourcing materials, admin, marketing, everything that just is to do with the business and building that business.
Yeah.
So then you need to kind of, right, well, what percentage do I spend on non-billable? So kind of roughly say 25% of it is non-billable.
Yeah.
So then once you've got that figure, you can then work out a true number of billable hours.
Yeah. And these are hours that are that cost is added onto your product according to how much you spend on that product. So if I'm spending 2 hours doing a plaque design, then that will be, for example, if my hourly rate turns out at £50 an hour, that will be £100 for that plaque design. If I'm doing a commission, and it's a big commission, like something like my ostrich behind me, which would have taken about 15 hours, then that's suddenly 15 times 50 is slightly different value.
Yes.
I'm just working it out. I'm an accountant. I don't have a calculator here. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, why did it's an easy sum, but why did it, my brain's just died? And I thought, oh. It was 7.5 grand or something.
Something like that. What did you say? 15 hours?
15 times 50.
Did you say 7? So 15 hours times £50 an hour is 750.
750. Oh, which, that's actually the price it's going to the exhibition. However, 40% of that has got to be on commission fees. So actually, I've undercut myself, and I'm not selling that for right. That's my hourly rate isn't 50 quid an hour, but if it was, that's undercharged.
Yes.
There you go.
Proven example.
Oh dear, it's been a long day, I tell you.
Anyway, once you have, so then you'll have obviously your adjusted sort of annual salary and your billable hours, and then basically the easiest thing then all you need to do is you just divide your adjusted salary by the billable hours, and this will give you your hourly rate. And then you just round it up to a round figure.
Yes.
Work with nice round figures. It's always easy.
Well, you say that.
to be fair, I have a calculator. It's past 5 o'clock. My brain switches off after 5 o'clock.
Honestly, I've been doing online tutorial editing since 6 o'clock this morning, and my brain's just gone to bed.
Oh dear. What are we like? So yes, once you've worked your way through all those steps, right at the bottom you're going to have your hourly rate, which will give you that figure that you want to earn at the top. Now obviously that's going to tell you whether it's realistic.
It is, and it's going to give a number of potential answers. One of those may be that you're undercharging, which is obviously the case in mine. One may be that you're overcharging, and that actually you've got more being charged out. I can't imagine there's actually anybody in that category, but you never know. That would be what I would say a good category to be in if you have customers. But it may also, if it's vastly out of sync, you then actually need to have a look at your business and have a look at, is this a viable business? Do you need to adjust your business plan? Do you need to pivot slightly? What is there that you can think about? And that's when it's quite nice to have some business brainstorming.
Yes. Yeah, because obviously you might have one focus for your business that when you actually do this exercise, it works out, oh, well, I'm going to have to charge like £70-odd an hour for it actually be viable, which obviously is really unrealistic. In certain, in some people that might be very realistic, but in certain areas,
if you're a solicitor, you're doing all right. However, if you're making birthday cards, a £70 an hour rate and taking an hour to make a card, you're not going to be able to sell a birthday card for 70 plus quid.
No,
unless it's
absolutely not. Exactly.
So it's that double-edged. You need to know that number, you need to know what you need to earn, and then you need to think, what can I do within my area that's going to support that, because it might not be what you're doing now.
Yeah, exactly. And it might even just be as something as simple, looking at where you're actually selling your products.
Yeah.
So it could just be something as simple as that. So if you're only using one platform at the moment, well, have a look at the other platforms. Will that bring more income, more sales in for you? And even just something as small as that can make a massive change.
And it might be worthwhile discussing that within this group. So what platforms are people using?
Yeah, absolutely.
What platforms are working for people?
Yes. Yeah.
It may be that you've got two card sellers, both is selling on Etsy. One's doing really, really well. One's just not selling anything at all. And let's look at the difference.
Yeah.
What is the person selling well doing differently to the other person? Because it may be that your strategy is slightly different. You might not have the right metadata tags, she says.
Fancy word.
Sounds like I know what I'm talking about. I have no clue. My Etsy shop does absolutely nothing, by the way. So I don't advertise it. So there you go.
Well, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, if we can, help each other out in this group, that's why we set the group up as well, not just to help with costings, but to help each other out.
Yes.
Especially if you are just setting your business up or you are trying to turn your hobby into a business, all these ideas will help.
Yeah.
And also it comes down to, I mean, both Sue and I network. We're both network and everything.
You network lots, and it takes a lot of time.
Yes, it does.
I never appreciated just how much time networking takes, but it does work. It's building those relationships, and it's the old know, trust, and like elements, isn't it? So you've got to know somebody, trust somebody, then you'll buy from them.
Exactly. And it takes time, it's not an overnight, I went to a network meeting, it didn't really work. It's going to take a few months to build up. Like you said, you've got to build those relationships up.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got to have some sort of trust in you. They're not going to suddenly say, oh yes, I know an artist, or I know somebody that makes cards, just on the first meeting with you.
No.
Whereas if you keep showing up, keep making contributions and everything, then it will eventually work. We've both been there.
And it works sometimes in ways you would never expect.
Yeah, exactly. And there's various different networking groups out there. There is, I think you're part of a creative one, aren't you?
Yes, Creative Work Sleep, as well as Link, as well as Unpretentious Networking, as well as the Business Network. Number of e-women in the US and Canada, all over the world, and that's actually COVID's done us a favor there, because you can network all over the globe and you don't have to travel.
No, exactly.
So it really opened up a marketplace, which is fabulous.
Exactly. So I mean, I would always promote networking, and it's not, if you've never done it before, it can be quite daunting. I think especially at the moment with things being on Zoom, it's different. It's definitely different.
It takes less time though, because you don't have to travel around as much.
Exactly. But I would say if you've not done it, give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're not sure, again, drop us a line. We'll invite you to one of our networking groups.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then friendly face, as it were. And we're always happy to help out. And every network's always free for your first visit anyway. So it's not going to cost you anything to dip your toe in.
No, exactly. But I'd just say if you've never done it before, just give it a go.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know what it'll bring. You just don't know what it'll bring. Veered off slightly there, didn't we?
Yes, sorry. We do this all the time though, don't we? We set ourselves a little schedule of what we're going to talk about, what we're going to run through, and then we just kind of
they're all written now.
You're organised. I'm here to disrupt you.
So this coming week we're going to probably post a few questions. The infographic will go live on Thursday. I will repost the poll question as well, just so we can get an idea of where people are struggling in their business and everything with costings and pricings. As obviously from the blog this week, it is two different things. And then over the next coming weeks, we're going to be sort of digging a lot deeper into each subject. Yes. So obviously, I know one of the poll questions was pricing to market conditions. So we can have a look at that.
Yeah.
And then obviously looking at materials, and even if somebody has done their homework, if they're willing to share or they're happy to share it with us, and we can kind of
study or something too. I mean, that might be quite interesting to have a look. But I mean, is it worth just reiterating why we started this group just a little bit? I'm just thinking, because we've mentioned the app, but there might be several people on the group now who are like, what?
Yeah,
What's
absolutely.
why are they mentioning this thing? What's going on? Essentially, the reason we met and joined up in business was because we wanted to find a way that took the emotions out of the costing side of things. And that is that we're working with Lancaster Uni to develop an app that will help you, walk you through these questions and help you with that. And part of this group is to get the feedback to make sure that what we create is actually what you want.
Yes, absolutely. And we are getting closer and closer, because I think our workshops with the uni start a week after next.
Yes.
Oh no, next week. Next week.
Very exciting. Because I mean, it's something that we can roll out to beta test to everybody in this group. You're all going to be involved, and you can all take a part in this. So, as you know, it's one of the old things of you get out as much as you put in. So give us all your problems. Don't give us all your problems.
Business problems.
Business problems. Yes. Yeah. I don't. I have enough of those other things on my own. Actually, I'm business. But just let us know what's hurting you and how can we help.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and which is why I'm probably pushing, and I will be reposting this poll. It's to get everybody in the group to engage. We're now, I think we hit 90 members this week. So we're 10 from that glorious 100. So again, it's
sticker or something.
So engage with the group, because it helps with our market research, and it will help you as well. Everybody's got their issues around costings and pricings. We know that. That's why we set the group up.
Yeah,
that's why we're developing the app.
Both sides of this. We've seen the side from the accountant and the business consultancy looking in, and we've seen it from actually being creatives and struggling with it. So we've done both sides. We know both sides painfully well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Although I'm out of that. I still do my pricing, and I did actually run through the infographic myself with my pricing, with the bookkeeping and everything, and I did it all. And actually, it's worked out that I'm charging what it came out as is what I'm charging as my hourly rate. So I was quite pleased with that.
Well done, you. I know mine.
And that was me. That was me being fairly realistic with what I want to.
That's impressive. Well done.
So I'll just give myself a pat on the back.
Well deserved. Some of us aren't in that league. And went.
Pricing sort of hourly rates of bookkeeping services is a little different than products. There's a little less. I have no materials to cost out, so
I have a lot of. You've no idea how expensive branded tissue paper is if you don't want to buy it by the several thousand. But it looks really pretty, so
Absolutely. So that's kind of how the next few weeks are going to pan out. We're probably now going to be doing some Facebook Lives every 2 weeks, I think. So we'll always kind of have a recap and then a look at what's going to be going on after that. Somebody's just commented somewhere.
Wanting it more than every other week, if it feels that you're actually going to gain more out of it, again, do let us know, because we can come back weekly.
Yeah, absolutely. So at because at the moment things are fairly quiet. I think people have got kids going back to school.
It's a bit of a funny time, isn't it? Everybody's kind of all over the place, and we're going to start with the Lancaster Uni thing. So I suspect we're going to be even busier than we already are.
But at least then, you know, once we've had our workshops and everything with that and things are rolling, we'll be able to update the group as well of how that's progressing.
Yeah. And we'll be able to just feed some more stuff in that we learn as well that's going to benefit you, because a lot of it's to do with starting up businesses too. So
yeah, exactly.
Glean, we shall pass on.
Absolutely. So I think what we'll do is we'll leave it there for now. And we will see you all in 2 weeks, where we will we'll recap hourly rates and see how you've all gotten on. I might set the group some homework as well.
You'll probably have better luck than me.
See if anybody actually gives the follows the infographic through and actually kind of looks at their hourly rate and sees, is that what you're charging now, or are you way under or way over? I think it'll be interesting to see
and see on my both, because I've got two sides, my commission side of my business and then my production kit side, because I know that's way off, but it'll be interesting to see if my commission side more on track.
Yeah, so that will go live on Thursday, so we'll see how everybody gets on. But yeah, I think I will set everybody a bit of homework just to see how they get on, and we'll see. We can do a follow-up post on it as well and see how people get on. But for now, we will say good night to everybody, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Yay! See you later, people.
Bye.
Got to find the leave button now, haven't I? Oh gosh.